Housework is something that never ends. Just when you get things picked up and where you want them, somebody starts another project and makes another mess. While we're doing our laundry, the clothes we're wearing need to be washed. We get the kitchen cleaned up just to serve another meal. Ugh, it just doesn't end, does it? It feels a little insane at times, right? Have you ever heard that the definition of insanity is repeating the same behavior and expecting different results? Ha! I guess that means we should really stop cleaning the house, right? Well, unfortunately, that's not going to work very well. In today's episode, I hope to inspire you in some ideas on how to get our children involved with the cleaning and the household chores so that your house is ready for anything. Hey, homeschool mom. I'm Erika Sagert on the Intentional Homeschooler podcast with more actionable steps and encouragement for your homeschooling journey so you can confidently and intentionally homeschool your children without sacrificing your sanity. Grab a pen and paper, your favorite cup of brew, and let's get started. I'm a very organized person, and I want my house tidy all of the time. But let me tell you, having 4 kids in 6 years definitely helped me to grow in this area. I've learned that the house cannot be and never will be perfect, but a general sense of calm and organization is definitely a must for the household to run smoothly. Keeping our house clean and picked up is showing good stewardship. It saves us time because we can find our things. We don't waste time looking for them. It lowers our stress. It helps with physical health, think mold and allergens. And it even increases our productivity because clutter overwhelms. Through the years, raising and homeschooling my children, I tried countless systems to get my children involved. Some seasons, they were very engaged, and other seasons, I was pulling my hair out because I couldn't get them to follow through with what I asked them to do. In fact, I remember a time when my mom was visiting our house, and she saw me doing everything, and she said, "Why are you doing that? The kids should be doing that." I didn't really like her comment at the time, and it kind of frustrated me, but she was absolutely 100% correct. Even now, with the 2 adult children that live at home, I have seasons when I do too much and I don't ask them to do stuff. I like things done in a certain way. I'm unfortunately a perfectionist. The Lord's working on that in me. But, we must find a happy medium where we have organization enough in our homes without having it perfect, right? So I even ask my adult children, I give them lists of things to do. Yeah, they should know what to do, but it's my house, and I've always been kind of the one in charge of the cleaning, so I give them tasks and I ask them to follow through with it. Sometimes it feels like we shouldn't have to ask our older children that, but we do because we are the ones that are running the household. So little kids, big kids, they all need to be involved in some way. So today, I want to give you a few ideas. Now, I have tried so many different things over the years. I'm always looking for a new way to keep my house clean, to keep it picked up without having to spend too much time on it. And I say, if we keep up on it, we're not going to be spending as much time. If we let it get completely chaotic and gross, it's going to take a long time to clean. So if we do a little bit every day, then we keep it generally picked up and ready to go for anything that comes our way. The first thing I want to encourage you to do is to be very crystal clear about your expectations. So create a checklist for the different things that you expect your children to do. Let it be step-by-step instructions, how to do it. I remember doing a step-by-step for the bathroom, and I literally had like 4 or 5 steps on how to clean a toilet. Like wipe around the back of the toilet, lift the seat, and scrub around the rim, and wipe down the top of the toilet as well, because they're not going to know, especially when they're younger and they're beginning. And honestly, no offense to children, but you know what? I don't think they really care. But if we can be very clear about what we expect, then we can go back and we can hold them to it. And it just gives them a sense of clarity in what we want them to do. We can't expect them to read our minds. So that first thing, I want you to be very clear about what you're asking them to do. All right. The second thing, which maybe the second one probably should have been my first point, let's make it fun. We don't have to be all heavy and mean and scowling at them. Let's get some music going. Let's make it a race. Let's give pay with money or a prize or an ice cream or whatever for the person who finishes first. Whatever it takes, try to keep it lighthearted and fun. It's fun to race. We all like a game. Old and young, we all like a game. So make it a game. The third thing I want to share with you is making a laminated chore chart for your kids to keep track of where they are during the day. So on this chart, it's a table, okay? So it has rows and columns. Each column is for your kids. So I had 4 columns on my laminated chore chart because I have 4 children. So each kid had a column, and then the rows were the different tasks that I needed them to do. I put it chronological, so throughout the day, they had things to do. I started from the morning all the way down to bedtime. So the very first thing on their list was quiet time. I wanted to instill starting the day with quiet time. So they had quiet time. The next row was breakfast. The next row was clean up your body and get dressed. The third thing was chore, and then schoolwork, and on down the line. And what they had to move down the line to show what they had done, I made them each a little square marker with their picture. I think I found some cute piece of clip art for each kid. And I laminated that and put Velcro on the back of that, and then Velcro on each square so they could move their quote unquote, their game piece down the rows to indicate where they were on their chore chart. It was a great visual for them to see where they were in their chores. And I could kind of glance at it and see where they were, and I could redirect as they were working through the day. I had it, like I said, all the way to bedtime. So quiet time, breakfast, cleanup, chore 1, schoolwork, lunch, chore 2, dinner chore, get ready for bed, sustained quiet reading, and then in bed by 9. So have that chart, have them move their little piece down, and you will be able to tell them to go to their chart without having to tell them to do their chores. The fewer words you use, I think, the better. The second thing I want to share with you is laundry. Start them early. I'm telling you what, they can do their laundry at 3 or 4 years old. I was talking to my cousin on the phone once when our kids were very little. We talked every day. And I was very overwhelmed. And I'm like, I just don't know what I can do. What can I remove from my plate? And mounds of laundry with 6 people in the house. We had lots of laundry. She's like, I bet your kids can do their laundry. And from that day forward, I never did another load of my kids' laundry. We each picked a day and we did our laundry on that day. I am telling you what, it cut back on my workload and it trained them to do it. I mean, hello, laundry is easy. All it is sorting the clothes, putting them in the washer, and then putting them in the dryer, and then putting them in your closet and dresser. Seriously, 4-year-olds can do this. It relieved so much. Now, I am a once-a-week laundry girl. People think I'm crazy, but girls, And guys, I'm telling you, I don't have laundry sitting around. I don't have dirty clothes. We have enough clean clothes. Once a week, I tell you, make sure in the bathroom you have a place to hang your towel after a shower so that it dries. You can reuse it for the week, and it's just fine. I promise. It stays fresh and it cuts down on the laundry. But get your kids doing their own laundry. And sometimes they would team up. They would share, they would do a load, work as a team and just do one load between the two of them or whatever, but they can do the laundry. It cuts back on your workload. So for tidying and daily picking up of the house, I used zones for many years. I divided the house up into zones and gave each kid a zone. In the morning, after lunch, and before bed, they were to spend a few minutes tidying their zone. When we were consistent with this, the house stayed picked up. We had a system for dealing with other people's stuff because inevitably people would leave their socks or their bag or their shoes in the living room. So whoever's zone was the living room, what are they supposed to do with somebody else's stuff? Well, they had permission to put the person's things on their bed. I did encourage during zone time, I said, hey, you might want to go around the whole house and pick up your stuff, because they never liked it when somebody put their stuff on their bed. But I'm like, well, if you leave it in the living room on the couch, somebody's going to have to pick up and they're going to have to put your stuff on your bed. So they had permission to do that. Deep cleaning. Sometimes we would do our deep cleaning like on Monday. It was always bathroom day. Tuesday, it was the living room. Wednesday, it was bedrooms, and so on. However, I found that really deep cleaning the house once a week was better, especially when my kids were younger and we were all home at the same time. We would choose a day like Friday, and we would clean the entire house. So everybody would work in their zones, and I had a list of what it meant to deep clean, starting with picking up, vacuuming or sweeping, washing the floor, dusting, all of that kind of stuff. I'll probably do an episode on how I did that a little bit more detailed at some point. But one day a week, having that deep cleaning time where everybody's working on their zone, and then you get done and you get to watch a movie together or go to the park or do something fun. Remember, keep it fun. The last thing I want to share is how I did our dinner time chores. Now, with 6 of us and homeschooling, the dishwasher was always full because you eat 3 times a day. And since you're not packing a lunch and leaving the house, you have dishes at lunchtime. So we, without fail, would always run the dishwasher twice a day, even if it wasn't like totally full, because if we didn't, then it was too full. So we always ran it after lunch and then after dinner. So when it comes to dinner time, I had a kid who was in charge of emptying the dishwasher and setting the table. That was, before dinner, because we had run the dishwasher at lunchtime. So hopefully it's done by dinner. So they empty the dishwasher, set the table, and then I had a kid who, after dinner, was in charge of clearing the table and doing the dishes. So I had step-by-step instructions. And let me tell you what, I share all of these things. And there were many evenings where it wasn't getting done and I had to remind. And I was, sighing and taking deep breaths because they weren't doing it. And I had to remind them again. But generally, these systems worked well. I mean, there's going to be frustration. It's not going to get done correctly, but if we don't have a plan, it'll just be even worse. So there you have it. Be crystal clear about how to do the chores you're asking them to do. 2, create a chart of sorts to guide them through your expectations for the day. 3, everybody does their own laundry beginning very early, like 3 to 4 years old. 4, use zones to share the jobs. And 5, do your cleaning each day, a different room, or once a week, where you do that whole thing. I think the best piece of advice that I want to leave you with is to stay flexible. Over the years, I have tried many different systems. I hope something here gets you going. Remember, Mom, we are raising these children, these arrows. Our goal is to push them out of the house. Let's prepare them for their future. Let's get them going in the right direction. If any of this resonates with you, you have further questions, or you want to find out about the work I do at Hope Learning Center, book a virtual coffee chat with me. The link to my calendar is in the show notes. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, as well as right here, where a brand new episode will drop every other Thursday. Until next time, you've got this, Mom.